right, thank you. Hi, my name is Constance Becker. I am an activist. I am an actor. I am a doula. I really care about both of my communities. I am both Black and Indigenous. And I want to do a teach-in today. Specifically, the teach-in will be about minority women and our babies. It's called Preborn Justice is Racial Justice.
That's right.
I think this is a really important topic because it certainly affects millions of women who are left behind by the systems that we've created and built against them. People ask me all the time, why are minority women getting abortions in record numbers? I get that question from a lot of, especially older grannies. They just can't comprehend it. They don't understand why. And often the pro-life movement will say that abortion is lethal racism and that it's the targeting of Black babies and so on. The pro-life movement will acknowledge that. However, they will not recognize that this outcome is the product of these systems, these Eurocentric and racist and colonialist systems. They still deny that we live in that type of society, which honestly I think harms the women, it harms our babies, and it harms the pro-life movement as a whole. These people are very slow to recognize that we as minority women are not getting abortions out of nowhere. So why are we specifically as Latina, Black, and Indigenous women doing it so often? And how can we as pro-life activists put our ear to the ground of these communities to save more babies?
Woo!
First, I need you to understand and be sensitive to the fact that if you are not a person of color, you might not gain the immediate trust of the women of these communities. Please do not take it personally. It is a method of self-defense built up after years of generational and community abuses and trauma. Though I don't think it's fair to judge an individual by their color, it is fair to judge a system by its track record. The American system continues to disservice us and our children to this day. And that has real consequences, and it does real harm to our families. Simply put, as a woman of color, we have not fared well in the American system or been able to care for our children as we dearly wish. I talked to so many Black, Latina, and Indigenous women about their abortions, and there is so much regret. They didn't want to do it, but they felt like they had no other options. They felt like the systems had left them behind. They didn't know where else to go. How can we as pro-life activists fix that? Because that would change the entire game. Abortion, housing insecurity, food insecurity, juvenile delinquency, fathers in jail, dropout rates, drug abuse, negative healthcare outcomes, maternity deserts, unconscious bias, lower quality of life. One of the biggest reasons that people justify abortion with is that the baby will have a terrible life. We all know that suffering doesn't justify taking a human life, nor does it take away from the value of that person, but that is the mindset that a lot of these communities are in. So how can we help these factors that are all connected? The biggest examples of the failures at work, in my opinion, is infant and maternal health care. The outcomes for minority women and our babies are absolutely abysmal. Black women, during or after birth, are dying at 3 to 4 times the rate of white women. That is adjusted for income and education level. Our babies are dying at twice the rate of white babies. Why is this happening? Native American and Latina women also experience an elevated risk giving birth as well. And in the cases of all women of color, we are more likely to give birth early, no doubt contributing to this, and more likely to receive a cesarean section. The life expectancy of a Native American woman is 12 to 13 years shorter than a white woman. As minorities, we receive higher quality care from doctors of the same race. And so 70% of physicians in an average hospital scenario have shown implicit bias. 51% of physicians showed moderate to strong implicit bias against Black and Latina women. That is disgusting. What are we going to do about that? Findings also found that Black and Latina women were given less pain medication, even in the same circumstances, in the exact same hospitals. Another example of America's insistence of separating minority families while refusing to address the issues that justify this separation in their mind is the foster care industry and the adoption industry. 60% of Black children have had some form of contact with child welfare officials, including me. We are more than twice as likely to enter foster care. We have the lowest rate of reunification with our biological parents. Minority babies cost on average thousands less to adopt. One man said, and I quote, "Black babies cost less. My wife and I learned this sitting on a worn couch across from two white women, explaining the fee schedule for adoptions. The cost to adopt a newborn Black infant was a fraction of that to adopt a white one. At another agency, we were offered a deal on twins. Adopt one and get the other at half off." That sounds like slave auctions. Years before America asked, "Do Black lives matter?" I could tell you, not as much. Abortion is not the natural order. Gestation is. Abortion is, in fact, most often not a standalone choice, but a response to outside pressures, stressors, and even generational pain. The first instance of abortion recorded amongst my tribe came at the hands of colonial violence, even though it was technically our choice. The monk Bartolomeu Las Casas highlighted the violent subjugation of my people. He once said that where there were 500,000 Indian souls, today there is not a living creature. We were massacred and genocided and raped and sold into slavery. He also said that the Spanish hung any doctor or female sorcerer who gave potions to expel infants from the womb. And they did the same to pregnant women themselves who took something to achieve the same end. These women were desperate. They were willing to be hung. But these abortions didn't come out of anywhere. They didn't come out of just nowhere. You see, these abortions were a reaction to the rape of our women. Almost all of my tribe's modern descendants are from non-consensual marriages and from rape, including me. A reality that still exists for our Indigenous women. Today we call them MMIWs, missing and murdered Indigenous women. More than half of Indigenous women experience sexual violence. We are 2 times as likely to be raped as white women. Nothing has changed. Why would abortion get any better since 1492? I think that these systems that disserve us are the biggest obstacle to us as minority women, to keeping and protecting our baby, to preserving our family. We run to the abortion doctors not because that is what we want, but because that is what we feel. That is the only option we have. And so I am begging the pro-life movement. I am begging America to recognize the suffering of my people and to realize that that suffering, to realize that that discrimination isn't just felt by us outside of the womb. Why does an unborn baby have to suffer racism? Why does a person who isn't even born have to suffer injustice? Not only were we ripped from our motherland, but our babies are ripped from our wombs. It is a cycle that keeps and keeps and keeps repeating. And I am just begging people to try to understand our perspective, to listen, to open their ears, to try to just empathize. Empathy goes a long way, and just listening to our community leaders and to women who have been in these situations, that would change the game. The pro-life movement has to address the inequalities involving our women and our children, involving our maternity justice, involving the preborn justice of our people is the justice of all of our people. Thank you.